Annabel Stop It is in the building, y'all.
What's up? Can you hear me okay?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you great.
Yay! That makes me so happy. I was thinking, with all the streaming I've done, I'm still going to end up having technical issues.
It always happens that way. I feel like whenever you feel your equipment is just going extremely well for you, there's always that one day where either the microphone or the camera or something messes up.
100%. And it's always something new. But that's why we're always learning.
That's right. Always learning. Annabel, stop it, everybody. Straight from the UK.
Yes, locked in from London right now. Finally coming out of the freezing cold days, hopefully.
Is it really cold over there? Because I feel like it's getting super warm over here in LA.
It's still cold. I'm still complaining. And we also had a huge storm at the weekend. I don't know if you guys got that as well.
A storm? Like thunderstorm? Was it flooding? What was happening?
It was literally the biggest windstorm we've had in, I think it's over 30 years. It was at least 30 years. I know that, but it might be longer. It was crazy. It was like code red. Like people died. It was mad.
Holy fucking smokes. I mean, shoot. I mean, yeah. I mean, we should actually take that very seriously that people died from a storm, man. That's so crazy.
Yeah, I didn't mean to take it there, but...
Is it normally like that, though? Like,
no.
During this time?
I mean, it gets pretty windy in the city just because it's like there's always such a wind funnel between the big buildings, but it's never like that crazy. I mean, we couldn't leave the house.
Oh my God.
I was about to go to the gym and my sister was like, actually don't leave, it's not worth it, I'll set my bike up for you in the living room.
Yeah, it's like we've been in quarantine for the past 2 years, we might as well just stay home during this thunderstorm.
Yeah, exactly. We can handle another day locked inside.
Yeah, facts. Well, for everybody who's either listening on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wondering what the hell is going on YouTube, we're actually doing this live on Twitch right now. And if you don't know who Annabel Stop It is, she's actually one of my favorite DJs from the UK. And I found her over Twitch, maybe like a year ago or something like that?
Yeah, literally just had my 1-year anniversary. So I would have come across you easily in like the first few weeks.
Nice. You know what's funny? I always have a story about how I either met a streamer or met my guest or whatever, but I really don't recall how I remember meeting you on stream.
I feel like that's probably because like we've hung out in each other's streams so many times though. Like I think the first time I raided you, like I would have 100% been like, oh my God, this guy is incredible. And like my whole community would have just been like, Nico's amazing. And after that, I was just like, I need to come and hang out. And I can't believe that you were streaming every single day. I still can't believe that.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I would not recommend that for streamers right now, unless you're really taking Twitch to be like your full-time job.
I can't even stream 3 times a week without getting too tired.
I mean, but the thing is, like, when I used to stream every single day, I would stream for like 2 hours. Whenever you're on, you'd be streaming for like 3-4 hours at a time. I don't know how you do that.
Honestly, I like the whole length of time that people can stream for on Twitch fascinates me so much. I'm always like wondering how people can go for so long. I mean, people do these marathons where they go for like 12 hours. The longest I've streamed for is 6 hours. And honestly, I look at these other streamers and I'm like, yeah, I can't even come close to their level of hours.
Yeah, it's a long time. I mean, I have this discussion with a lot of DJs too, and it's weird how when you DJ in real life, right? At max, you could probably do like 2-3 hours before you get super worn out. But it's weird when you're on Twitch, it's like you could do 4, 5, 6. People have done 12. I've done 12 once. And it doesn't feel as bad as going out in real life and doing like a 3-hour set.
Totally. Like time flies by way quicker because you're just like, you're hanging out with all your friends. And it's the same, like I do Adidas as well in London at the flagship store. And it's a long set, but now I stream it and it's like having the community there with me. It just feels like it's so much fun. Time flies.
Oh, I bet. You know, before we get deeper into this, I love the fact that the UK and the US pronounce things so differently. And the reason why I bring that up is because you just said, well, how'd you say Adidas? Because we say Adidas.
Adidas.
Adidas. See, I don't.
Adidas.
We say Adidas. Or at least I say Adidas. I know a lot more people also say Adidas too over here, but you say Adidas.
What about Nike?
Nike?
Nike. Do you guys say Nike, right?
You say Nike?
Yeah.
You say Nike. We say Nike.
Yeah, I remember I was calling it I was calling it Nike for ages, and then like one day my parents were just like, "What are you doing? You're not American."
I'm so dead. So oh my God, in the UK they say Nike. I didn't even know that.
It's weird, isn't it? This is another thing I love about Twitch as well. It's like when you're just having conversations in the chat, everyone kind of like exchanges how they refer to different things. And I'll say something sometimes, and it's like, I've got these people that are on every single stream, and I hang out with them so much, and they're like, what is she talking about? And I'll just be talking about like chips or crisps. I'll be talking about crisps, and then someone in the States is like, you mean chips? And then like Ice, I think he's in here somewhere. I was be like, you mean fries? And then we're all having this huge debate in the chat.
Yeah. Okay. Let's get this. Can you say aluminum?
Aluminum? What do you
like
mean like
aluminum foil?
What? Like aluminium? Like, what? You mean like how you can get like bikes with like the aluminium finish?
Yes, exactly. Exactly. See, in the US, we say aluminum.
No, wait, that is completely a different word.
It is. It sounds like not even the same thing. That is crazy.
Love it.
I love it too. I don't even know how it's kind of interesting how like United States English and UK English is different, even though it's the exact same word. I don't even understand where that comes from, honestly.
I know. Well, also I had like one of my mods was asking me to help him like improve his English. But then one day he was saying I can't remember what the word was, but you know things like moisturize, we use an S. And in the States,
too.
we use a Z. And also, like, color, we have the OUR, and you guys just have OR. So he was like, which one's correct? And I was like, oh my God, actually, I don't think I can take responsibility for this. I don't know.
I know, right?
But let's
make Annabel the person who is in charge of all the words.
I'll take
whatever
it.
She says goes. You feel me?
It's up to me now.
I do have one joke for you.
Oh God.
Who is the UK English teacher's favorite EDM artist?
I don't know. Am I supposed to guess, or it's just a joke, right? I'm not going to guess the answer.
The answer is Zed.
Oh my God.
I think I've said that a couple times. I don't know if I've said that one to you.
I can't believe I haven't heard that yet. That's amazing.
I made that one up for the record. If anybody ever tries to duplicate that one, I made that one up.
Good effort.
But you know what's so cool is that despite it's not even a language barrier, right? But despite our differences in language, the one universal thing that speaks to all of us is music. And what's so cool about the music that you play, it's like, I know when I do my own sets and I feel like, man, I feel like I'm spinning like Annabel Stop It right now. It's kind of ridiculous. And by that, I mean kind of like this bouncy Afrobeat, upbeat type edits. And it's like, you've cultivated a style that I don't normally hear out of a lot of DJs. I mean, you know, maybe you're the first one who I've like heard of, but I don't know. You're just so original to me. And that's why like I really mess with your sound. Is that the type? I'm assuming that's the type of sound that you grew up on, kind of like the Afro beats and up-tempo type music.
It makes me so happy that you say that, first of all, because I don't even know like how I've managed to kind of create that identity for myself as a DJ. And you know, I owe a lot of that to Twitch and just being able to be myself and mix it up when I feel like it. But in terms of like what I grew up on, there's definitely a mix of things. Like my dad is from Gibraltar, So we would listen to a lot of Mediterranean music.
Mm,
My mum's very cultured. She's from Scotland. I was actually born there, but I only lived there for a few months.
mm.
And so they definitely introduced me to so many different cultures in that sense. But like what I was listening to when I was at school was pretty much the top 10, you know? I didn't
Yeah.
there was no music scene where I was. I didn't really go to that many live gigs, and I honestly didn't really wake up to the music industry like that until I was pretty much at uni. And that's when I was like, oh, there's like a whole scene out there that's alive and kicking with all these artists. And I just went crazy for it because all I was hearing was like when the girls at school would come back with the new chart music after the weekend. We listened to the same 10 songs.
Right. Is radio like, I'm assuming you got a lot of your top 10 from like radio or something, right?
Yeah, I
Growing
mean,
up?
it was literally just like when iTunes first came around and you could kind of look at the charts and buy songs on there and that sort of thing. But I remember for sure like the first ever CD that I bought from, we've got a store in the UK called Woolworths. I don't know what the equivalent would be in the States. Um,
Probably Rasputin. That's the first one that
okay.
comes to mind, yeah.
Okay, cool. And I had some pocket money. So after school one day, I was like, I'm gonna go and buy myself a single. And it was A. Marie's One Thing. And I just saw her like on the
Oh,
cover looking so cool. And I found the song amazing. I found it like really different, like so much rhythm, her incredible voice. And that was literally the first CD that I ever bought with my own pocket money.
dang.
Um, and then on the flip side, like the first album that I remember my dad getting for us was Avril Lavigne, Let Go. So that was like the punk
Ooh.
pop side of things. And yeah, it was just so much. Honestly, I was listening to like rock and pop mainly when I was a teenager.
It's so interesting how that music moved over because it's obviously like American music, right? But it's so interesting how that music moved over to the UK because I was just interviewing my friend DJ Mish yesterday, who is from Taipei. And so it was interesting how hip hop didn't necessarily move over there, but R&B definitely moved over there.
For
So,
sure.
the punk rock more poppy R&B music moving over to the UK. It was very interesting because I'm not entirely sure how this music gets moved around and why it gets moved around really.
I don't even know. Yeah, I remember like even getting DVDs of music videos, and it was all like Samantha Mumba, Always Come Back to Your Love,
Yeah.
Scandalous, Mystique, like all those vibes. So yeah, it was getting out there, but I didn't really pay attention to like UK artists specifically until I went to uni and moved to London.
Yeah, I mean, shouts out to the UK artists. I think like I always know I'm hearing a UK artist off of two things. One, obviously the accent, but I've just grown accustomed to knowing who the UK artists are, and I think it's really because of Drake. I mean, I think okay, wait, no, because back then, I want to say is MIA from the UK?
Yeah,
Paper Planes. Okay,
yeah.
that's one I know. I think another you is no, not Lord.
I mean, in terms of like pop stars that have gone global, then there's Rita Ora,
Rita Ora. I didn't even
Dua
realize she
Lipa.
was from there.
Yeah. London girl, Dua Lipa as well. Is
Okay,
she big in the States? I feel
she
like her
is.
pop.
She's
Yeah,
pretty
okay.
big.
Yeah, so there are people who have made it out there, but they do end up like in a way having to have quite an American style with their pop. Like it doesn't sound always 100% authentically British.
Yeah. Estelle. Estelle is the one who I was thinking of.
Yes.
Estelle with
There
Kanye
you go.
West. So it's cool how like I guess the UK and the US's music influence kind of just like trade off with each other, Like I feel like we've gotten like streams of UK artists like back then, whether it be like Estelle or MIA, Dua Lipa, and then it ended up becoming like Skepta and people like around that era when Drake made a whole freaking album with like UK artists.
Yeah. Yeah, he really, really did help shine a light on UK talent. And there was like that the scene was so alive at that time that people were really, really coming through and just like breaking down new boundaries, really. Um, but I think it is interesting how it works with music and kind of making it big outside of the UK. It's really, really hard to achieve that.
Oh,
So
bet.
definitely hats off to all the artists who've done it, because I think it can be quite cliquey in the UK music industry. And you sometimes get that kind of thing where people who do go global, like everyone in the UK is like, oh, okay, cool, you're going that way then, like you're selling out and that sort of thing. And it sometimes just,
Really?
yeah, sometimes doesn't go down too well.
That's so weird. I just feel like if you make it out, especially if you make it out of your city, right? That's already a huge deal. And if you make it out of your country, it's kind of just like, bruh, like, I don't know. It's not a feat that anybody can easily do. But that's why,
Yeah, for sure.
relatively speaking, that's why I also love Twitch, because it helps DJs like yourself and other DJs who are in this chat or also on the platform to actually evolve and get an audience outside of just whatever city. Like, I know we have people in here from like Vancouver. We have people over here from California, obviously. And Twitch is really helping us bridge the gap between our worlds.
It really is. Honestly, I owe everything to it. Like, I can't, it's mad where I was before lockdown and now. And I just owe that to the community on Twitch, because I didn't really even think about the fact that lockdown or no lockdown, there are people online who maybe can't access your music, even when people are living life as normal, whether that's because they're in a location where they can't get to gigs like that, or they have families, they can't leave the house at those hours. Or also there's a whole world of people who don't really want to go to the club and they want to enjoy all of that from the comfort of their own home. I'm like that half the time. I'm like, why DJ in a club, like drink shitty vodka when I can make myself a nice cocktail and like play on my speakers at my volume, like on my terms, it's a dream. So it just really like blew my mind that actually there are people out there all over the world who want to support you, who wouldn't be able to come across you otherwise. And some of those people have ended up literally helping me become freelance and doing this full time.
So where were you before Twitch, before the pandemic?
So I was working full time. I actually had managed to get a job at a music company, at a startup, after many years of just kind of doing any other job to pay the rent. And it was going really well, but then obviously the music industry was pretty crippled by COVID. So we were sort of like, we were struggling financially, and we were all put on furlough. And I thought, right, I really want to be, I actually initially, like, presenting was at the forefront of my goals. So I was like, right, I have to just start my own radio show. No idea what it's going to sound like, what it's going to look like, but I just need to start downloading some songs and putting them together and speaking over them. And that is how my radio show, The Antidote, was born. And I just started putting that out on SoundCloud. And I just couldn't believe the response. Like, in the first sort of, I think by the end of that first year, we reached like 150,000 streams on SoundCloud and Mixcloud. And I was like, what? There are people out there who are like messaging me from all these different countries, like, dude, your radio show is sick. I love your style. I love the music. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And then it was literally just a couple of people from that who, by the end of the first year of lockdown, were like, dude, you should hop on Twitch. Like, just give it a go. And I'm like, I can't really DJ live like that. Like,
I just pre-record my mixes and put it up.
Yeah, I know. When I was making The Antidote, I'd like record a mix and then I'd just make a mistake and I'd just start again. Like, I can't do that on Twitch.
That's so funny. So then how long before you actually got convinced to hop on Twitch?
I think a couple of people had sort of mentioned it towards the end of 2020. And then literally it came to like the new year in 2021 and I was like, all right, let's give this a go.
Yeah.
I think we were going back into we'd gone back into another lockdown. There was no light at the end of the tunnel at this point. Yeah. And I'd also slightly gone into survival mode because I'd been on furlough at my job for like 3-4 months at this point. And I wasn't really getting much hope that investors were going to keep putting money into it when we couldn't make any revenue. So I was like, I need an escape route. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. Like, I'll try Twitch. And then if that doesn't really work, then I probably need to start looking for other jobs.
Yeah. I mean,
it worked.
It did work. It definitely worked. And you know what's so cool about that is that I feel like a lot of people ended up making so many excuses when it came to Twitch, right? So, I mean, people started DJing on Twitch around March, April of 2020.
Yeah.
And that's when all the DJs started to just like enter. And then we hit this second wave of DJs, which I feel like I was in around like August, September 2020.
Okay.
And then there was an obvious third wave come like the end of 2020. So this is the time you were on. I think also people like DJ Mary Jane entered in like during that time.
Oh, yeah, she did.
And I still get the question of like from other DJs, especially like, is Twitch still worth being on? But if you look at the whole grand scheme of things, it's right. People who started on the second wave, I thought I was late and I just kind of doubled down on it. People in the third wave where you were at, you thought you were kind of late, so you just kind of went hard with it. And also at that point, you didn't really have a choice but to go hard because, you know, everything happening with your job at the time. So I like to tell people, like, there's really no excuse to not start it right now, you know?
I would agree. I'd completely agree. I'd even say I probably missed that third wave. I was so late to the game. I was like, I've missed it now, you know, like life's going to go back to normal. No one's going to be watching. But as I say, like this community that I've built, like they are my core fans. I don't have that fan base outside of the internet yet. Like these are the people who are helping me find my feet in this career. And that's so important to me. And like, I will never forget that. And I think that streaming will always have a place in my life because you're so in control of the content that you create and you can do whatever you want with it. And especially now, like with things like brand partnerships and whatnot, like the opportunities in terms of like your career are endless, really. I think you should always continue to be putting things out online, whether or not you've got lots of successful in real life gigs as well, because the opportunities are endless. But yeah, no, I definitely did put everything into it towards the end because I ended up building my own PC and I was like, what am I doing? This is crazy.
That's good. I mean, I definitely love the dedication. And, you know, the way I see Twitch, right? I see Twitch kind of like this. When DJs were first making their way, like the start, people just started throwing parties. And then radio became a thing. So then DJs were trying to figure out like, okay, how do I get on radio? And then SoundCloud becomes a thing, which you are currently on still right now. It's like, okay, well, let me put up some mixes on SoundCloud. And then as of recently, it's like Twitch becomes a thing. So DJs are like, okay, this is another thing that we can get into. And even more recently, it's TikTok. And DJs are trying to figure out how the hell do I like maximize on TikTok? So I say all that to say this. It's like there's so many waves and platforms that DJs can go on, right? And I think the same way people see parties and radio and SoundCloud, they should be extremely synonymous with the way they see TikTok and Twitch. Now, TikTok and Twitch, you know, it might alter a little bit here and there. There might be another streaming platform or whatever that other DJs can also build on as well. But I don't like it when people say like the DJing thing on Twitch is going to die down, because it's like I've seen people like really make careers out of themselves, yourself included. So how in the world is this going to die down?
I completely agree. It's so funny, but it's in a way, it's like what I was saying earlier. It's like there are two lanes. I guess there are people who did turn to Twitch and Twitch really helped them out during that time. But then there are people who have found like a viable career and something that they want to remain part of their career moving forwards. And there is an audience for that, for sure. And if you're like unsure of that and you're a DJ and you're starting, but if you really are passionate about making it work, you will find your audience, you will find your community.
Facts.
But it's so timely what you're saying as well about all of the platforms, because it's just so many things to stay on top of.
There is. I mean, I like to also think of DJs as kind of like content creators right now, especially with how effective the internet can be for, for ourselves. Like, I mean, I see you doing your TikToks. You're always posting clips.
I haven't cracked TikTok yet, but it's like, it's so true. Like, you can no longer just be a DJ. If you're building a brand, you could be like a resident DJ, I'm sure, and have all your residencies and just like lay low online, but you've still got your money coming in and you're happy with that sort of career. Or you might want to take your brand further and build a presence online, and that's where the content creation comes in, and it's endless. Today, like before this interview, I was like, okay, I need to sort out my schedule for the Antidote, my stream schedule, TikTok content, Instagram content, and I was like, that's the part I didn't sign up for, but like, you've got to go for it.
Yeah, it's interesting because I also didn't sign up for all this content creation, but then you kind of just see the way the industry is moving. So, you kind of have to adapt. There's one of two things you can do. You either adapt or you fall off.
Exactly. And I think I probably speak for both of us when I say that, like, I secretly love it. So it's fine.
I do secretly love it. It's kind of like this, it's a mixture of a drug and an adrenaline rush that happens whenever I'm content creating or whenever I am on Twitch. Like, do you ever feel like you get so addicted to it?
Oh my God, totally. Like, I literally have to be pulled away from my laptop. I'm constantly thinking like, oh, I can turn this into this and that, It never ends. My sister's like, what do you do? I'll roll out of bed at like 9:30 in the morning. She's like, what are you doing? I've been awake for like 2 hours. And I'm like, dude, I was like making TikToks until 3 a.m. Can you give me a break?
Oh, that is so lit. I love to hear that. But like any drug, it could be bad for you. That's why when you mentioned like 365 days and why I would not recommend that to anybody, especially right now, is because I got into this mode where I always felt like I had to stream because that's the goal that I set for myself. And, it was also something for the community too. But there were days where I was just tired and just like mentally drained, and I just felt like I needed some sort of escape from the thing that helped me escape quarantine. Twitch helped me escape quarantine, and it made quarantine go by that much more faster. And then it came into a point to where burnout was real, and then the escape became inescapable, and I felt like I had to leave that. So like, you are over here doing like streams like 3-4 times out of the week, constantly creating content. Like, how does all of this internet presence and content creation and just always be on demand DJing like affect your mental health?
This is such an important conversation because I never used to be too open about my mental health until more recently, when I felt like I was just, I'm close with my community now, and I feel like they've seen me through enough highs and lows that I can't really hide that from them. And I also want to be honest about it. But I get really affected by it, especially in the winter. And obviously we're just kind of coming out the other side of winter now. And I struggle so much. And I think also the internet, it has so many incredible benefits, which we've, both really experienced with everything that we do. But at the same time, if you're spending such a long time on the internet, or when I'm on TikTok or Instagram looking for inspiration for these reels and these TikToks, I'm constantly looking at, the next DJ who looks so much better, and she's doing that gig and she's definitely getting paid more for this. And should I be doing that? Should I be doing less of this? And before you know it, I'm such an overthinker. My thoughts just spiral out of control. And I'm like, why do I even bother? Like, what's the point? And it just gets totally out of control, and I feel helpless about it. So I'm just trying to be a lot more proactive about using my downtime much better, and actually saying to myself, no, like sitting on my phone scrolling through Instagram is not downtime at all. Like, that's your brain being exposed to other people's lives that you don't necessarily need to see. and, switch off your phone, do some yoga. I need to yoga after these DJ sets.
Some yoga.
I'm
love
always
it.
like throwing myself around or just like head bumping to the tunes, It's like, let me just stretch the shoulders, calm down. So yeah, honestly, I think I've felt a huge weight off my shoulders in being more open with my community about when I'm having a down day, and actually taking that time off rather than giving, not my best performance. And yeah, I'm always trying to figure out more tricks to just improve my mental health in general, because it's in turmoil over winter, like every year. But I think I'm getting better at like learning to live with it, and also just kind of like normalizing the fact that performers aren't always like 100% happy. So
yeah, because I think that's a very huge misconception, because let's say you and I are just like concert goers, right? When we're concert goers, we see the performer and they like absolutely kill it. What sucks is that you don't necessarily know what is going on through that person's head, like at that time. Like literally anything could have happened. It could have been like a personal issue amongst themselves. It could have been like a family issue. Like I know for sure I've gone through a couple streams where there was something going on. And the hardest part, Annabel, was also trying to convince the chat that I was also okay. And then it finally got to a point where I realized, like, you know what? Like, if I am having a bad day or if something is very off, like the chat can recognize it and the chat can see it.
Totally.
And it is, I think we have to normalize, and if we take this into like Twitch terms, right? I think we have to normalize also not being okay when we are streaming. It's weird because also as performers, as DJs, as streamers, or whoever, right? Like it's difficult when you feel like everybody's always so happy go lucky and you're always trying to like keep everything like, oh yeah, everything's popping, da da da. But it should be okay to normalize that you're not okay while you're on stream.
Totally. And I've tried to brainstorm so many different ways to go about it, because I've looked at streamers and thought, okay, they never go online unless they're like 100% in the right mood, I'm like, surely they never have a low energy stream. So maybe I should be more disciplined like that. But then, I went through a time where it was really tough. Like I couldn't afford to take that stream day off, because especially like on my path to partner, like I was like, oh my God, I can't miss a stream. They'll never give me partner. And so I'd go online and I'd say, okay, guys, today, like I'm a bit lower energy, so I'm going to do some chill vibes or something like that. But then I would just freak out about like, well, what if people are coming to my stream for some like ballet rave funk music and I'm just playing some super chill dancehall vibes? Then they're going to think, oh, I'm not coming back here because she's inconsistent. And I would just ask myself all these questions and freak out about it. But at the end of the day, like, I think what's beautiful about Twitch is that if you're always yourself, then that's what people come through for.
Yeah. And you find that the chat will actually figure out ways to cheer you up if you are having a bad day.
That's definitely happened many times on my stream. And I'm like, you know what? I'm glad I went live today.
Yeah, sometimes I'll have one of my viewers, PJ, just like say jokes in the stream. And I'm just like, okay, well, now I just can't help but freaking laugh.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. It's so interesting that you mentioned a partner. First of all, congratulations, because you just got that finally.
Thank you.
I've been watching your streams for the past couple. Well, I mean, I've been watching your streams forever, but like especially within the past couple of months, right? Like I just noticed your numbers were up there, and I was like, okay, like it's gonna happen very soon. Like I know it's gonna happen soon. And then every time I hop in, it's like, oh, Nico, not yet. Hop in the second time. Oh yeah, Nico, not yet, but we're almost there. Third time, Nico, we're almost there. I'm like, all right, you ain't got to convince me because I know you're gonna get there soon. But it's interesting because I actually had the same mentality when it came to achieving that partnership goal, because once I noticed the numbers were up and I knew who my audience was, especially at that time, they kind of liked older music, so like 90s, 80s, pop, hip hop, R&B. So I'm like, okay, cool. For a month straight, Nico, and I'm streaming every day still for a month straight. Just play this.
No way.
Just play this, and also just stick to the exact same time, because you know at that point it becomes a little bit more calculated, right? And it was interesting to me because that goal to chase partnership, it was fun to do, but also super freaking stressful.
It was exhausting. I can't imagine for you with your schedule. And it's so funny that you say that, because it's so true how you start trying to like calculate everything. But I've learned, like, you just can't tell with Twitch. I'll go live on like my busiest day sometimes, and it will be my quietest day.
Yeah.
Like, and then the same thing the other way around. You know, I randomly go online at like a new time or what's normally really quiet, and I've got like double the viewers, and nothing correlates, like, especially, you know, in terms of support and what you earn. Like, there's no correlation to how many people are in the stream. Like, it's all so random. You just can't possibly ever predict what will happen in a Twitch stream, but I guess that's why we love it, and it keeps us on our toes.
It is why we love it. I mean, what's cool is about this comment too, what Swift Mo said, Twitch is so unpredictable. Like, I'll kid you not, sometimes I'll feel in like a very like hip hop mood, which I know like a majority of my audience does not necessarily feel. And then next thing you know, I'll get like a raid from like, you know, one of the homies who's like a super hip hop DJ, and I'm like, cool, like I didn't know this was gonna happen. But then you feel an immediate like mood change. And you know, Twitch is just as unpredictable as life is. And I've kind of you know, I've taken that mentality with everything that I do. The fact is that we have so many expectations for ourselves, right? So whether we have like an expectation for how much money we're making today or this week or this month, or what goals we want to achieve by the end of the year or whatever may be, right? Like, it's so interesting how the more we upkeep those expectations, the more those expectations don't always happen, but when they don't happen, something better usually ends up happening in lieu of that.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I think we probably all learned the hard way at one point or another that you have to have zero expectations with Twitch. But it's hard when, you know, sometimes you have those amazing days and you never know like when it will happen again. But you have to just do it for the love of what you're doing, and you have to just go on, enjoy the music, enjoy hanging out with everyone, and think of everything else as a bonus, you know?
Yeah, facts. You know what's funny is that we're talking about your Twitch journey and your DJing on Twitch, but I don't think I've asked you yet, like, how did you start DJing?
Well, I started DJing about a year and a bit before we went into lockdown. So
wow.
Well, which is actually now longer ago than I think it is, because I keep forgetting that we just missed like 2 or 3 years of our lives to COVID.
Yeah, it's okay. 2020 up until now, it's still all the same year. I think we've all come to that consensus.
Yeah. It's all merged into just one long year.
So you've been DJing, I guess, since like 2019, but realistically, if we're doing all the math, it's 2 years, not 4.
Yeah, exactly. Whatever. Exactly that. So I just started doing it, but I was fortunately fairly like well connected in the industry already through radio, because I started doing community radio when I left uni, and I was just really into presenting, but I was doing all of that work for free and just really struggling to do it on top of my 9 to 5, which was also barely paying the rent. And I just moved to London and I was like, shit, this is expensive. And so after a while, actually the community radio station that I was on at the time ended up going under. Like, there was some sort of PR scandal and like it just disappeared and we all lost our radio shows.
That's crazy.
So I was like, you know what? At that point, the industry had not been kind to me. So I was like, let me just take some time away from all of this and really work out like what I want to do with my life, and just basically rebalance, like find a job that pays me enough to pay my rent and then go from there. And during that year, I was like, right, okay, I'm missing the music and I want to get back into that. So how can I do that? And a friend of mine had given me his old controller, which I think was a DDJ SB2, like the really old Serato one.
Yeah,
And
super old.
and I started messing around on it. And I remember I literally like tried to do a few transitions and I was like, this is horrific. And I put it under my bed and I didn't touch it again for 6 months.
Dang.
I made so much noise. I was like, I just could never do that. But yeah, like 6 months later, I was like, okay, no, actually, let me really do this. And I booked out a few studio sessions as well to practice on some CDJs. There were a lot of tears in the process because I was like, you know, when you put the CDJ on actual CDJ mode, instead of vinyl mode, and then it like doesn't play.
Yeah.
Or like I can't even remember what it does.
No, yeah, like I'm not gonna lie, the first time I used CDJs was actually at the club that I currently spin at right now.
No!
And I kid you not, the first time I went there, I'm over here looking at it like it's a brand new piece of technology that I have zero knowledge on how to use. So, and I'm also trying to fake my way into, yeah, you know, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I'm over here like pressing the buttons on the CDJ and I'm just like, I'm praying that this shit works right now. Please just work. Okay, right side works, cool. Left side works, cool. And then next thing you know, like it just resets and it just stops for whatever reason. I'm just like, bro, what is going on right now? I have no clue what to do.
Honestly, if you don't know how to troubleshoot your setup from start to finish, anything can go wrong.
Let me ask you this. What is the worst DJ story you have when it comes to equipment? Maybe you forgot a chord or something, or maybe for some reason the controller just blew out.
Oh, I'm trying to think of like something really dramatic that's happened. I mean, thankfully, I've actually never, ever forgotten anything until the other day when I went to a gig and forgot my headphones. And then the next week, I went to the same gig and forgot my laptop charger. I was like, what am I doing?
Oh my God.
I literally had this gig for 2 years and now I'm forgetting like half of my kit. So yeah, that was crazy. But I think the worst thing that's ever happened to me was actually just going to Adidas and I had all sorts of issues with Record Box 6, and because it like you can't use it with CDJs unless you have a separate license key to the one that your controller unlocks.
Yes.
So I've had like things like that, or when like the firmware needs updating. But thankfully, I think I'd had enough like bad experiences in like these studios where you can practice on the CDJs that I actually knew what I could do, and I just ended up like starting late. But the weirdest, like in terms of like improvising at a gig, the weirdest thing that's happened to me is I rocked up to Adidas like a few weeks ago and I got there ready to go in and I was like, I'm going to start with some like heavy dance, we'll get right into it. And I got there and there was a yoga class happening. And I was like, what? And the yoga instructor was like, oh, hey, are you going to DJ for us? And I was like, I don't know, am I? And I just had to start playing like calm Zen meditation music.
Oh my God.
This is not what I had in mind.
Yeah, I would have thought you'd play like some up-tempo stuff, but I don't know. I can't really do that.
She was like, do you have anything with like a slightly slower beat? And I was like, no, I'm playing the slowest song in my record library and it's literally 10 BPM slower than the original because I'm trying to slow it down even more.
Oh my God. Yeah, hey, at least you made it through. At least you made it through. That's all that matters. I'm not gonna lie, I was at a gig, well, not my gig. I was at my friend's gig the other day, and like the opener DJ or whatever, or I don't know his name. So if anybody tries to ask for this guy's name, I don't know his name. But this fool was going crazy. Like he was over here like jump, like everything. Like he really looked like he was into it. wasn't the best DJ, right? And then next thing you know, the music just stops. So everyone is turning their heads like, what the hell is going on, bro? And then he turns around. He's like, somebody got my charger. I don't know where my charger is. I'm like, bro, why did you just give away your charger to somebody? You're just like, dog. Like, I cry. I would cry because I'd just be like, dude, I don't know what to do at this point. Like, somebody better just get me the charger.
Oh my God, I couldn't handle it. I reckon also I've probably been quite lucky with like my DJ disasters because I haven't had as many like club gigs where it's like the music is so loud and there's like people jumping around everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, touch wood anyway, but I probably have a few more disasters to report back in a couple of months.
Do you remember what your first gig was?
I remember it so clearly. I didn't know, right, that like DJs freestyled. So I thought that you had to just know exactly what you were playing before you turned up somewhere. And then I got there and I was like, oh, like what if you get here and it's like a different vibe? And then I was like, okay, so that's what DJs do. They read the room and then they go with the flow. And I remember someone was playing before me and I remember just being like, oh my God, I really hope they don't play a song that's in my set because I can't take it out because I won't know what to do.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And actually, I tell you what, that was a complete mess because I think I brought my laptop and it like his controller wasn't mapped to my laptop and I didn't realize that I would have to bring my own controller because they'd said, oh no, they've got one there. Like things like that you just don't realize that they're like, oh no, yeah, we've got a record box controller here. So I just thought it would work and it didn't. And yeah, I just did like my little 40-minute set, literally transition for transition, like exactly how I'd practiced it.
Oh my goodness.
And then I was getting into the last song and they were like, oh, the other DJ isn't here yet. Can you just keep playing? And I was like, what?
You're like, no, I was only good for this amount of time. I don't have any more songs to choose from.
I was like, this next transition is going to be a disaster.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so that was terrifying, but I live to tell the tale. Okay,
so my next question is like, I mean, I do a lot of clubs, and especially on Twitch, I've figured out like particular sets that I can do, right? You know, like a string of like 3, maybe 4 songs that I know will really work well together. And it, for the most part, especially if someone hasn't heard it, it turns up like crazy. Do you, considering the first experience that you had when you started DJing, do you still have like sets today, or are you still more so on just freestyling everything that you do?
Yeah, so I find it really, really hard to keep my record box organized. I think everyone probably does. Like I would describe it right now as a catastrophic shit show, like beyond repair.
There we go. I love the honesty.
It's so bad. Someone DM'd me yesterday and they were like, would you ever consider doing like a behind the scenes thing on Twitch where you show us through your record box? I was like, I don't think anyone wants to see that. Like it will just give you a headache. But yeah, no, I'm definitely trying to be a lot better at like having just go-to crates for different vibes. And I mean, when I first started DJing, I kind of based things off the Antidote, but even that isn't like really curated as a whole set. It's, you know, different vibes here and there. So I'm trying to have like my kind of go-to hype hip hop playlist, like hype commercial R&B playlists, things like that. And then also depending on different gigs you get, sometimes like I might get a nice gig at a really cool restaurant or rooftop bar that's got like nothing to do with the crazy stuff I play, but it's a really nice place and I want to go and like play and have some fun, and it's more disco vibes or something like that. So I kind of want to be ready for anything, but at the moment I do find myself frantically like scrolling through my record box like, shit, what was the name of that song?
That's so funny. It's funny because what you say is true. Okay, but granted, this is one thing that I will always flex with. I feel like my Serato is super organized.
No, I'm so jealous.
'Cause
Teach me, please.
I've shown my Serato to a couple DJs and they're just like, what the hell? Like, why, how is it like this? I'm like, bro, I've been organizing since I started, so I don't have that difficulty later on when I'm trying to
Oh
put
my
everything
God. But
together.
so I really want to ask you about this because like I feel like you get it because you do a whole bunch of different vibes too. Like I've seen you, I remember you doing like your Taco Tuesdays with all the Mexican vibes. You whip out the salsa sometimes. Like
Oh yeah.
you do everything. Like, so I want to know how do you organize it? Like what are the main categories?
Ooh. So my laptop's over there. I was gonna reach for it, but I'm like, ah, it's whatever, because I kind of memorized it. So, if I could kind of go down the list, I have hip hop from the '90s, or it says hip hop '90s, hip hop 2000s, hip hop 2010s, hip hop 2020, and then R&B. I'll kind of just have like a big folder full of R&B, just because like I kind of have an idea of the tempo of every R&B song that I've ever owned, so it's kind of easy to get to. But I'll also have like classic R&B, so everything that's like '90s and back type of R&B. And then
Nice,
I'll have a
nice.
pop set, and then I'll have an oldies set too, which the era would be like Michael Jackson, Prince.
Nice. Okay.
And then I'll have like a funk set too, which is basically like all the funky stuff from a couple Prince songs, One Way, Snoop Dogg, anything that kind of just fits in that category. But then I'll also have like a little ratchet set right over here. I'll
See
have
that?
like
I've got that on lock.
there you go. See, and it's funny because because I organized it so well in the beginning, now whenever I download songs, I just, okay, cool. I just drag it to whichever folder it applies to. Like, I'll sometimes find some songs that are from the '90s. I'm like, cool, like drag it to the '90s folder. Some
Okay,
songs I
cool. So
might
you
have
don't
forgot
use
about.
smart playlists.
Mm-mm.
So
I
I
don't even
actually
know what that is,
started.
honestly.
I started using them, and I actually think they might be the enemy. So I'm going back to do it yourself playlists
Oh,
because
yeah.
like nothing beats your own curation. Also, you can do smart playlists where they say, for example, you'll be like, oh, anything that is the genre is hip hop and the year is between 2010 and 2020.
Yeah,
But
that's
it's like there will be songs that slip through the net if they don't have all the right metadata, or you like didn't tag it because you were in a rush, and you just want to always be, I think, a bit more in control of that.
yeah.
But that was good to know though. I hope everyone's taking notes. We just got some exclusive info there from the Nico Blitz.
Just organize right away. That is the best thing you could do.
Yeah,
DJ Don
definitely.
Falmuina 808 actually has a great question. What irritates you the most while doing an in real life gig?
Good question. I think the number one thing is anyone just like is drunk people just coming too close to the decks. I just am immediately like I push people. I don't know whether anyone else does this. But like if a drunk person gets too close to me, I just push them. I'm like, did she just fuck off? Like you're about to hit my laptop, you're gonna spill your drink on the CDJs. I just physically push them away. Listen,
That's how you do
I'm
it.
too used to this bedroom DJ life. Like, don't get up in my personal space.
Oh my God, that's exactly how you do it. Have you seen that video? I think it's a recent video, but this chick literally had a Gatorade bottle and just poured it all over the DJ's equipment. And I'm like, oh my God, that is someone I would actually like swing at.
Oh my God, that's awful.
Crazy.
Like, deliberately.
Like she was obviously drunk, but she just kind of pushed her way through and just sprayed the whole thing.
I would absolutely lose it. I
Yeah.
I can't. And I'm also really scared. I'm so scared of like drunk people. And I was at this gig the other day. It was a club. And there was a sort of fenced area around the stage, but I'm still on the same level as everyone else. So like people can come up and it's just like one of those metal barriers, so you can move it around. And this girl came up like in front of my laptop, and she was just staring at me. And she was clearly completely out of it. And I literally grabbed my friend and I was like, she's going to throw up. And I'm terrified of people throwing up. Like, so it's like, you're drunk. I'm scared you're going to be sick. And I was like, what do I do? Like, I want her to leave, but she's just like gazing at me, like hanging over the barrier. And she just looks like she's going to be sick at any moment. So I just got my friend and I was like, please, can you just tell her friend to take her away? Because it's making me nervous.
Yeah.
And thankfully, she was able to kind of act like my bodyguard, and she kind of went over to the girl's mate and was just like, look, like, can you kind of take her away? Because I think she's freaking my friend out.
Oh, yeah, please. Give me 1 second, Annabel.
Sure thing. DJ Ondex in the chats. What's good, everyone in the chat? I can't see everyone's messages, by the way. I wish I could. I think I occasionally get a little pinned message.
So the reason why I had to step out really quick is because there's a long story short, there's a hole in my ceiling. And my neighbor who also lives obviously within the vicinity, he is here to fix it. So I just had to let him in really quick. So shout out to my neighbor one time.
Shout out your neighbor. I feel like that's a legitimate excuse, so we'll let you off the hook.
Oh, yes. There's
actually also, coincidentally, there's also a hole in my ceiling.
Really?
And we've got like a huge, but it's like the hole has come from water damage, so it's not like an actual, like nothing's like fallen through.
Oh, no, yeah, it's the same thing for me. There's like water damage in the ceiling. Yeah.
But we're both slowly about to get flooded then.
Yeah. So you know what's funny is that what I'm noticing from a lot of just people who go to live events now, right? They get their phones. This is going back to the conversation about like, you know, things that irritate you in real life gigs. So people get their phones now. There will be a group of words here just flashing at you. Play some Bad Bunny. Play some Lil Baby. Can we get some EDM? And I'm like, bro, like, can you guys like relax, please? Like, I mean, granted, I think it's very smart as opposed to the dumbass people who are trying to scream at me with their song requests as if I can hear them when there's so much music going on right now. It's a lot smarter for people to do this, but because it's smarter, it's more irritating.
And also you can do that from a distance as well. So even if you're like properly up on a big stage, like you've got people going like, so annoying. It's unacceptable. But what do you do with song requests? Because I realized, and I didn't even do this deliberately, but I've realized that I say yes to everyone and then just never do it.
Yeah, I do the exact same thing. Oh my God. DJ, she brought up a great point. Whenever I get song requests, whenever Annabel gets song requests, we say yes and don't do it. That is the realest shit
The only promises we're allowed to break. But it's seriously, I'm like, yeah, and they're like, oh my God, thank you. And I'm like, you're welcome. And they're like, oh my God, I love you. And then they leave. And I'm just like, ooh, never going to play that song.
Never going to play it. The only way I play it, though, this is the only way I play it, is if someone like really flashes me like a good amount of money and I'm just like, oh yeah, I could play some Bad Bunny right now. I can do that for you, bro.
Listen, money talks. That's a whole other situation.
Yeah. But you know, I will say this though, if it's like a friend of mine, for example, and it's like, you know, I know it's like a song that means a lot to them or whatever, or if it's something that just actually makes sense.
Yeah.
For what I'm doing right now, right? Like, let's say if you're playing Afro beats and someone was like, oh, can you play like some Afro B, for example, or can you play that Peru song, which is just so freaking fire right now?
Oh my God, it's so good.
You know what I mean? So it's like, if you are an audience member of a DJ, it's like, if you request, at least for me, if you request a song that makes sense with what I'm doing right now, there's a higher chance I'll play it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. If it fits in the set, then 100% I'll go for it. Especially like with my gig at Adidas, like you've got all the staff working there. So it's like you want to see them, have a good time. You want to make sure you're playing their favorites as well. So if it fits in the vibe, it's going in for sure. But if not, then you might not be hearing that from me tonight.
Yeah, facts. Super facts. Annabel, outside of like DJing, like what are some of your favorite things to do? Maybe some hobbies or anything like that.
The dreaded question.
The dreaded.
Do I have a life outside of my work? Not at all.
I DJ 24/7.
No, what do I do? I mean, I'm going to the gym now, so I'm enjoying working out again. Because that was, I mean, you know, it was home workouts for 2 years there. It's just not quite the same. I am trying to go out and eat more, you know, try different restaurants, explore the city. I feel like London is incredible. And I've spent literally like the first few years of living here just kind of eating 50p noodles in my flat. So it's time to go and explore a bit more.
You said 50p noodles?
Yeah.
What is that? I don't think I've ever heard of that.
50 cent noodles.
Oh. I'm like, so when you said 50p noodles, I'm like, are they putting peas inside the noodles? Like, what is that?
No, it's just probably the absolute cheapest item of food you can get from your local shop. And I've been cycling a bit. My family really like outdoorsy. So when I go home, we're always going hiking with the dog or cycling and running. I did a trail run the other day, which I was very proud of. Did 8 kilometers in the hills.
Well, I'm happy to hear that at least one of us is working out and being active in real life and not just totally on the internet. No,
honestly, that's all I really have. It's like it's going to see friends and stuff, but I'm really learning so much about what I like and what I don't like in terms of my social life. Like I don't really like going to really loud places or really noisy bars and just like getting drunk for the sake of it. But I will go to an amazing gig that's got a great quality sound system and enjoy like my favorite DJs. And I'll have my friends over and cook a nice meal and that sort of thing. So that's like the journey of your 20s, though. It's just like figuring out all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Let me ask you this. Do you find yourself, like, do you go out anymore just to go out? Or do you have to go out when, like, your friend is spinning or something like that? And I'll tell you my thing first before you answer. I will not go out anymore unless a friend is doing something. Otherwise, I'm just like, yeah, I'm kicking back here. We ain't doing shit today.
Yeah, it's changed now for sure. I mean, I think, how do I put it? Like, I just have to be going out for a reason. I went out the other day on like a Saturday night and it was beginning of January, so we were back in town after like my sister and I got COVID for like a week or so, and then we went home for Christmas for 2 and a bit weeks. So we had basically like 3 weeks of isolation.
Oh my God.
And then we got back to London and we were like, yay, girls' night out, let's just go out, get drinks, have a good time. And it's like we went to a couple of bars locally and I was just like, the music is shit. Like the drinks are shit. My feet are stuck to the floor. Like this categorically is not fun, you know? Let's go back to our house and make nice cocktails. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's just about finding like the good places to go. But it's so different now because when I was at uni, this is when I really got into music and when I was like, okay, I'm going to drop out and move to London to pursue a career in music. I was at Kent's uni, which is like, it's like an hour or so out of London. And there was this bar/club that was like, it wasn't on campus. So you had to go down the hill into town to the high street. And this DJ would play there and he was so good. And there was a point where I would go to that bar with my flatmate on a Monday, a Tuesday, a Thursday, a Friday, and a Saturday. Like we were out all the time.
Before you continue your story, what the hell is a flatmate?
What do you mean?
You said flatmate.
Yeah, like, okay, I suppose like the equivalent would be like, well, a housemate, an apartment, the person that you live with.
Oh, I'm like, a flatmate.
It's actually mad how much of a language barrier there is. It's crazy. Yeah, so a flatmate is just like you. Well, how would you describe someone that you live with?
The motherfucker who lives with me. That's how I describe them.
This is amazing. Oh
okay,
my God.
So you and your flatmate. I'm gonna start using that now. You and your flatmate go out.
Yeah, we were just going out all the time, and I swear, if there were a place like that down the road from me where I could just walk to and back on my own, then I would go. But then also, it's just, I feel like back then I would drink so much more, whereas now I don't really want to like get obliterated every time I leave the house, and it's just like, it's more exhausting. And I mean, I don't know, I just sound like I'm getting really old now, but it's not, you just find fun in different ways. So it's like, I'd rather save up and go and get a nice dinner with like a couple of friends somewhere where we can all catch up than go to like a club. Oh my God. But also, I'm sorry, speaking of, I just need to say, I went out on Saturday for my birthday to this club, like that's quite near mine. And it was the worst DJ I've ever heard in my life. But he was bad. He was so bad that it was great because we were just laughing at every single transition. It was hilarious. It's like you could actually like not know how to DJ, but still smoothly crossfade. This guy didn't care. He was literally like, God, I wish I could remember one of the transitions. It was like the na 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 na. You know that song?
Okay.
Free from Desire.
I probably don't, but okay.
Oh, I think okay. It's massive in the UK. Like it's like one of those. It's like every Saturday night at the bar. It will be like the one that everyone jumps on the tables. They go crazy for it here. And so he's playing that song, and then just in the middle of the chorus, at a completely different BPM, he just starts bringing in "Shake That Thing, Miss Annabel," and I'm like, "That's that's not even the same BPM. What's happening?" It was just the clanging was crazy, but it had us all just in hysterics, so kind of worked.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, you know, I actually had this discussion too with a DJ Mish just yesterday as well, and it's interesting how the DJ industry works, right? I feel like there's one of three, I guess, type of DJs, right? One, there's the very popular DJ who's very bad.
Yeah.
Two, there's the there's the very good DJ who doesn't know how to promote themselves, so nobody knows who the fuck they are.
This is so accurate.
And the third one, which is the absolute best place you can be at, is the very popular DJ who is also very good. And that is just rare. That is very rare.
This is so true. So true. My God. Especially in this day and age where it's like you suddenly need to learn like to keep up with all the technology, and some people just haven't got on board with it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there are some DJs that I'm like, I could never be as good as you, but also like on the flip side, you will never get some of the bookings that I get because no one can find you. It's hard. It's really, yeah, you gotta strike the perfect balance.
So imagine this, Annabel. You're a club owner, right? You want to make the hottest club in London, UK.
Oh, God.
Which one of those three DJs do you book? Do you book the poppin' one who can't DJ well? Do you book the one who's really good but can't bring anybody? Or do you try to get the person Actually, omit the third person. Let's just pretend the third
don't do
person
that.
doesn't even exist.
I knew you would ask me a tough question. I've seen your clips from your other interviews. I was like, I know he's gonna throw me one of those questions. Oh.
If you're opening up a club.
Fine. Seriously, if you can't throw budget at the third option, it's gonna have to be the good DJ. It's gonna have to be the good DJ, of course, because nothing else will matter when everyone's on that dance floor. The
Facts.
music wins every time.
That is facts. I love that.
Except I'll just have to like promote it extra hard because the DJ's not going to give me any promotion.
We're gonna have to put all the budget into promotion for this.
Exactly, into a whole TikTok campaign.
Oh my god. You know, I will say this though. B Hannon is talking about DJ Diesel, aka Shaquille O'Neal. Did you know that Shaq DJs?
No.
So, me and my girlfriend, we went to this event. And basically over here in Los Angeles, Shaquille O'Neal threw Shaq's Funhouse, which was basically a pre-party to the Super Bowl, right?
Oh.
What I didn't realize is that Shaq is a huge EDM fan. So to open up the night, Shaq's son DJ'd. He was cool. You know, he was cool. He didn't really have too much mic work, but he was cool. After him was oh my god, why is his name? I literally just lost his name. Wow. All right, chat, help me if you know who the hell I'm talking about. Diplo.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah, Diplo was after Shaq's son. And then after Diplo was actually DJ Diesel, aka Shaq. And he had that place turned. He was so good.
No way.
You know when you just don't assume like anyone's gonna be like freaking good or anything. So I had absolutely zero expectations for this. And just seeing him, I'm like, oh my god, like he's really freaking good.
That's amazing. And you know what? I have so much respect for that as well, because there will be people who are like, oh, well, I have the name, so like everyone's just gonna cheer anyway, like no matter what. But like the people who are like, no, I have the name, so I have to live up to that. I need to put in the work. Like, yeah, that's what I admire. Facts. That's amazing. Oh my god, you saw Zed as well.
Yeah, and we also saw Zed. It was a treat, dude. And we saw it for free, by the way. I'm just gonna point that out.
Whoa, low-key flex.
Yes. I didn't realize how much of a Zed fan I was until I saw, because I had never seen any of these DJs live before.
Yeah, I haven't even like paid that much close attention to their live sets, to be fair. It's more like their actual songs that I'm a fan of.
Yeah. But then when Zed was actually on, I was like, oh my god, like, why is it just banger after banger after banger?
Oh, that must have been insane.
Yes, it was absolutely insane. Like, it's crazy to me how because this Clarity comment is here right now. It's crazy to me how, like, you know, records like when Zed made like 10 years ago, like Clarity, just still go absolutely crazy. I love it. It's the nostalgia. Do you have like what's like that one record that's always just the go-to when it comes to your sets?
When it comes to sets, like not nostalgic vibes.
Let's go with the nostalgic. Let's go with the nostalgic one, and then we'll go to the one, like the one song that you always go to for your sets.
I've got a real thing for Stereo Love, and I know it's not like super nostalgic, but oh my god,
yes!
Just when it comes in, that
when you gonna stop breaking my heart?
My heart aches right now just listening to us sing it. Oh,
yo,
it feels so good.
Oh, that's such a
probably
great
my go-to
song.
nostalgia one, because it also just like it's got the nostalgic vibes, but it still like pops off, you know?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a banger. That's definitely a go-to banger.
Oh my God, that is such a great song. What is one guilty pleasure song of yours?
Oh, that's easy. I've played this in my Twitch sets a few times. It's gonna have to be Dragostea Dinte.
Wait, what?
My he,
Oh,
my who,
my ha.
my he.
Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. That is great.
Straight fire.
That is great. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was like, what?
I was once doing one of my earlier in my early days of streaming, I was doing one of my freestyle sessions, and I freestyled a Skepta song, one of his famous grime tracks, I Spy, into Dragostea Dinte, and it is like the greatest DJ sin to have ever been committed, and yet it just got the most incredible reaction from the chat. So I had to bring it back for my 1-year anniversary. I was like, guys,
Oh, wow.
here it is, the greatest transition of all time.
That is lit. That would actually be a great that actually be some great TikTok content for you. DJ Sins.
That's so true. That's so true. I've seen like ideas like that, but I'm so bad at like actually pulling out stuff from my streams and making it into TikToks. But my mods are onto me. Like Blue today was messaging me like, "Where are your TikToks? You've got so many clips from Twitch. Go for it." And I was like,
Oh,
"Thank you.
wow.
I need you."
That's lit. That's lit. Do you
It's
have like
amazing.
do you have your moderators like clip everything for you? Like if you're not going back?
Completely depends on like schedules and stuff, because I'll have some stream, because I stream for so many hours, like I'll have times where I won't have mods in there for all hours, and then I used to just relentlessly like go through every transition and every stream and clip everything, like all the highlights. And I realized recently that it's just so time consuming. It is slightly taking me away from actually putting a bit more time into preparing for my next set and my next stream. So I'm trying to be a bit smarter with how I do that. But I do have the most amazing mods, and it's been a real journey, just like gathering, a few special people who have had no previous experience on Twitch and who have just like jumped on to help me out. And then obviously like Swiftmo and Blue, who have loads of experience on Twitch and came across my channel over time and jumped in to help out, like, and they make the biggest difference to the stream. So serious mod love. Mod love.
Shout out all your moderators.
Yes, for sure. I've got Jabens, who joined me actually pretty much from the beginning, and then I've got Cherry, who I know from uni, Blue, Swiftmo. Cherry's there, yay! Gang. I see you in the chat as well. Love it. Oh my god. Yeah, I've got a strong team. Swiftmo always cracking me up in the chat. Blue's here too, guys.
Yeah, you made
me cry.
We got the A team in here, man.
Yes. I see you, see Wolves, big love. Gang. Oh, I love that. I'm in the process of getting my mod love emote done, you guys. It's on the way.
There we go.
Coming soon.
So Annabel, happy birthday, happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
You had your birthday stream. You just completed your year stream. You just got partner. Every time you've hit 4K, it's like, okay, 4K party. Then you hit 5. Now I think you're at 6. So it's like there's always like new goals that you're achieving. Like literally every time I hop in, like what are your upcoming goals now that you've accomplished like so much?
Well, firstly, I'm worried that everything just happened at once and I've got nothing to celebrate for the rest of the year. So don't worry, guys. There won't be any like, quick, it's a massive milestone streams again in the near future. No, but yeah, it's been an amazing month. Like it just was one of those things where it worked out with the timing that so many things happened at once. But I think in terms of what's coming up, I am going all guns blazing for 10K, road to 10K.
Love it.
hopefully get there in around the summertime. So working towards that. TikTok as well. I need to buckle down and really, really step my game up on TikTok. So I'm going to be churning out a bit more content for that. And then also I am actually going to be bringing back the Antidote, because I wasn't being very consistent with the shows, just because I ended up putting all of my focus on Twitch, which is obviously the right thing to do. But I'm going to make sure that I come up with a new set schedule for that. So I'm probably going to be dropping a show every 2 weeks. And actually, Nico, I have to say, you have been a huge inspiration for that, because I really want to do more of my presenting. And I sort of let it go to one side while I built my my Twitch platform. And now I'm seeing all the content you're putting out, the fact that your conversations are so in depth and so relevant and so funny.
Wow.
And just so full of knowledge. Like, you've really inspired me to start getting back into my presenting stuff. So shout out you for that.
Well, thank you, Annabelle. I appreciate that. You know, it's so funny because I, like you, like, you know, I was hosting, as we call it over here in the US, like before Twitch and all that. And then when I hopped on Twitch, I said, you know what? I'm just going to solely focus on DJing. And then I accomplished so many goals that came with that the presenting, the hosting, the podcasting, whatever you want to call it, like, I realized like how much I really missed it and how important it is, not only for me, because I love having these conversations, but how important it is for other people to just take in all the knowledge and talk about things that may be taboo or that people just naturally don't want to say, because they don't understand that people like yourself and people like myself go through these type of things every single day. So, you know, my career, my DJing career is solely dedicated, and I'm thankful for everybody who I've met who's just boosted my career in that. And, you know, with the hosting, I'm so thankful for everybody in that end too. That being said, you know, I'm so happy to see you just start from ground zero, and your streams are just getting even crazier and crazier, and I love to see that. So to see you hosting in addition to everything too is going to be so worthwhile, and I'm going to be so happy to see you do everything that I know you can do and more. So
thank
shout
you
out to
so
you.
much. Thank you. I think like it's one of the most incredible things that I don't feel as lonely as I perhaps otherwise would going freelance into a job like this, when you have a community like Twitch and just the internet in general, because I feel like I have met genuine people and friends online who I now consider like my colleagues and my peers, you know? And no, it's definitely been amazing to have this conversation with you.
Yeah, same.
I can tell you're just going to be one of those guys who's like a household name. Like, you've got the podcast, you'll have the Spotify deal, you'll be tearing up the clubs. Love to see it.
And I know the same will happen for you, my friend. So thank you so much for your time. Everybody, Nico Blitz Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. If you're just tuning in right now, we're actually going to be putting this entire video on my YouTube channel, so you can rewatch it at any time. I'm going to chop up some clips so that you can watch it on Instagram and everything like that. Annabelle, where can everybody find you before we head out?
You can find me on all socials at AnnabelStopIt, and you can find me over on Twitch as well. That's twitch.tv/AnnabelStopIt.
You know what? I'm so sorry. I don't know why I always forget to ask this question at the beginning of every single one of my podcasts, but like, where does the stop it come from? Why is it Annabelle Stop It?
Oh dear, it was coming. It was always going to happen. Do you know what? It actually it came about so organically, because I basically used to jump around with different stage names when I was younger. Before I started doing like the hosting and the DJing, I initially wanted to be an artist, so I would make music, and I've just like forgotten to mention that part of my story as well. But I'd come up with different ideas for stage names, and I would never settle on one. And so I would just keep changing my username all the time. And then one day I was just like, Annabel, stop it. Like, stop changing your name all the time. just go with Annabel, you know? And that was it. And at the time I would kind of say it a lot in conversation. Like, you know, even now, if someone tells me something crazy, I'm like, stop it. So it just happened. AnnabelStopIt was born.
There we go. I love to hear it. By the way, one more flex I gotta do is if you ever hear that AnnabelStopIt DJ drop, just know that was me.
Oh my God, yes! That is the best drop ever. There you go, guys. You got to come through to my Twitch so you can hear the Nico Blitz AnnabelStopIt drop. It is incredible. And I also just want to say before we wrap up, thank you to anyone who has been watching on Twitch, anyone who's come through from my community. I appreciate you guys so much. Can't wait to see you soon.
Yes, thank each and every one of you for joining in today. And shouts out to the A team. Y'all are absolutely amazing. And we love to see each and every one of you and, you know, our communities just keep on growing together and crossbreeding. Well, I don't know if crossbreeding is the right word, but you know what I'm saying. Like, Blitz World, go mess with the A team. Yes. I already know y'all mess with me. Bring the families
together.
Yes, exactly. Bring the families together. My name is Nico Bits. Jesus Christ, because I saw like aluminium. Jesus Christ, man. We're out. Peace.
Bye.